Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Superstars of Wrestling review series. Almost said world class review series, but we finished that. 340 episodes available in our archive on the channel. So if you haven't checked out the world class review series, go check that out. Anyway, Roddy Piper opens our episode this week, which is the May 11th, 1991 edition of Superstars of Wrestling. Piper does a poem about Mother's Day, also threatens to get even with Rick Martel, his opponent, for the day. The Bushwhackers are the opening act in an enhancement talent this week. Butch licks Luke's head to start the process, and, well, match goes downhill from there. They get a good 3 or 4 minutes out of a completely one-sided enhancement talent match. Bushwhackers are, as mentioned, not particularly a team that needs to be overstated too much. Biting, punching, kicking, gutbuster, and battering ram is your victory for them. We get an inset promo with Power and Glory, Hercules and Aroma as their upcoming opponents. Then we go to a match with Sergeant Slaughter and actually, more accurately, Slaughter flanked with the benefit of General Adnan and Colonel Mustafa. Slaughter hits a couple of knees to the midsection of an enhancement talent gutbuster across the knee and ultimately kicks him in the midsection. Meanwhile, Adnan very animated on the outside. Mustafa only animated when he looks like he needs to be. And then we get the camel clutch and the victory for the former WWF champion. We go to the event center where Hacksaw Duggan promises to get even, wants Slaughter, wants Mustafa, wants to avenge anybody who is not kind to America. The Barbarian does a promo with Bobby Heenan. Basically, Barbarian says he is fearsome, ready to fight anybody. Heenan says line up anybody from the Warrior to Bret Hart, to anybody you want to, anybody you need to. Doesn't really matter, British Bulldog or anybody else. Barbarian wearing a fur coat and antlers, just FYI. IRS, Erwin R. Shyster, says he will audit people for various reasons. Says that Americans are all tax cheats and useless human beings. And that is that. The Big Boss Man out next. Some shots under the chin of his opponent. Pretty simple. The enhancement talent is held up pretty simply, but Nasty Boys run in, and post-match, after Boss Man hits his sidewalk slam finish, Nasty Boys run in, beat him up 2-on-1. Finally, the Mountie makes his way out and handcuffs the Boss Man, hits him with a shot stick a couple of times. This is the impetus for the feud between the two that runs through the entire summer. Pretty brutal storyline for a kid-friendly program at the time. Not so brutal looking back on it, but at the time, pretty big deal. Speaking of big deals, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is here with fire in hand. He does the fire-breathing character, which I give him credit for doing. Kind of dangerous, obviously. Dragon blows a few puffs of fire, which I did see him do live, and it was impressive. A few shots by the enhancement talent. Dragon throws the man off the top rope and into the middle of the ring. Dragon then hits a few chops, top rope chop, and eventually hits a crossbody from the top rope, gaining himself a victory. Promo from Jim Quinn of the World Bodybuilding Federation, plugging the event they have coming up, and Mr. Perfect makes his way out. Bobby Heenan says they have a problem on the funeral parlor. The problem is they need a casket for a dog. They find a very small box. Mr. Perfect basically says the British Bulldog will be eliminated and extinct when he comes across him, and Bulldog and Hennig are set for the summer. Roddy Piper And Rick Martel basically is a brawl because that's where Piper leads it to go hip toss. Probably one of the more technical moves that Piper does. Clotheslines Martel to the outside. And Martel back up on the inside. $1 Million Man says he's going to get even with Piper sooner or later in an inset promo during the match. Piper brawls his way around. And a crossbody by Martel. Short clothesline. Again by Martel. Piper was always protective about not losing on television. Same remains true here. Punches, kicks, pokes to the eye, and Piper is pretty well able to handle everything. Ends up, I believe, getting a double countout victory or double countout type situation. But Piper, again, stumbles back in. Referee tries to stop Piper from going nuts. You're not going to stop Piper from doing virtually anything, and anybody with even a quarter of the brain knows that. Piper manages to get a modified victory due to the use of illegal tactics by Martel, and they pumped this hot ticket pay-per-view thing they got coming up. Warlord with the Slickster kind of pumps toward Davey Boy. Bret Hart says he wants to beat Haku, wants to beat the Barbarian, wants to beat anybody to be a singles guy. Undertaker with a squash match next, and, well, a couple punches, choke slam, flying clothesline, and a tombstone. Later in, your Undertaker is victorious with his enhancement talent in a body bag. There is an Event Center promo with the Earthquake. Earthquake basically says he's going to squash Lucifer and Damien. Lucifer and Jake Roberts, rather. He'll do the same that he did to Damien at an earlier point. The Legion of Doom wants the tag belts. They make it pretty clear. They'll fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. And that will close us for today. Again, we'll be back with more right after this.